Good afternoon, Brian with Grand Roofing. We're going to dig in and look at a roof leak here on this dormer. There's been some siding people here doing this job. They've noticed some issues going on. A lot of rotten wood under the dormer here. Didn't want to mess with it. Give me a shout because I know them. We're up here to inspect it and we can learn from this video. So I'm going to show you guys what to look for, what to watch for if you're doing a DIY project, what not to do or how to do it so you don't have an issue like this down the road. So let's get into it. I do have to try to hurry because the cider's down. They have the radio on it. I don't want to get a copyright strike here. So I've talked a lot about when you start your first piece of flashing down here, you cannot just stop it at the edge, and if you extend it, you can't snip it and fold the corners because it ultimately leaves a pinhole. In this case, it's a giant hole. It's pretty good size. Get my fingers in there. So water coming down the roof, wall, flashing, whatever, it's got its own issues. The biggest issue is right here. Anything coming down is running right in. The reason it's a very good opportunity to see and show is because a lot of the siding is off. The corner cap's off. The J channel that comes down here hides a lot of this, and you can see it. Now, this is not the original roof. Whoever did the original roof when they built the home is to blame for this. But as an installer, whoever did this layer of shingle, because it's not the original, should have been competent enough to see and to know where their shingles are cutting. I always talk about notching a shingle like an L. So you see the L, it needs to shove up to there. Your flashing needs to dump out past it on top of the shingle. And there's a lot we can unpack and learn from this. So a simple solution to fix it, right here. Very simple solution. Flashing is normally that big, okay? We're gonna cut it down because I'm not doing a whole roof job here, honestly. I just inspected this now and we're just gonna temporarily fix it because more rain on the way. We're gonna nip this right here with a knife. When I'm ready, I left it so I could show you. We're gonna cut this right here. I cut this short so I could slip it in there discreetly. It has to go under the piece of flashing right here. Goes under, any water coming down this wall comes off of this, will be on top of the flashing and run down. Now the biggest thing you got to do here is fold this over, a little dog ear. It's got to extend. That is the biggest thing. It has to come down. Any water on here has to be channeled out on top of the shingle. Now we're going to learn a little more of this. There's a keyway right here. A lot of people can make a roof look good, but you want it to not leak. What's the importance of the keyway right here? Say you do get it up here. You got this old sure nail, discontinued shingle here at the old plastic covering here. There's a bit of a bump here, water surface tension. Not a big deal, but over time it can happen. Water's gonna trickle through and come down right on this. And looking at that, I see that I'm like, my God, who cuts that shingle so short? This is the cut right there. See that shingle? They cut it extremely short. I measured it, it's a 1/4 inch overlap. There's not much overlap here. This is just screaming bad quality install. So we got to address this one. Same thing here. He had somebody here and caulked it to try to stop it. Didn't recognize the actual issue. There's a hole here. Now to do an actual full-fledged repair, you'd have to get in here pretty into repair, and I opted to tell him stop the leak, don't do the repair because the roof has got a little life, not a ton. Just address the section here when you do the roof. As long as you can stop the leak, let it get by until you replace the roof, then do it. Otherwise, you're gonna have to tear into this. The valley was, this porch was added on later, so the decking's gonna come over. I was in the attic here, and that main section of roof comes down under this. So it's gonna be a pain to get that sheet of wood out. So that's why we're gonna opt to stop the leak. Figure replacing or repairing the wood whenever the roof gets done. Same thing over here. We do have to hurry, the radio's going. You can see here's another piece, extremely short. All the debris gathers down here, trickling in right here. Because they failed to recognize this does not dump out properly on top of a shingle or the headlap of a shingle. They would have extended it down a little more and not cut, but simply folded from the high point to the low edge down over like a dog-eared cedar fence almost, in a sense. Would have been simple. And then when you're putting your siding on, all you gotta do when you put your corner on is slice a little notch in there to straddle over it. That's simple, easy. Water coming down, gets on top of a shingle. Now this one, something else we can learn. Siding, or the flashing was done the same way pretty much. But if you look at this, they did a real big no-no. They put it down to the roof deck. Being that high up, it's under this complete shingle. That means they are trying to catch the headlap of this shingle. Well, if you know anything about roofing and the size, there's a nasty little bee back here. That headlap only comes up 1.5 inches past the next common bond. So that's dumping out onto the deck. So whatever vapor barrier, black paper, that's probably all that's keeping this dry. And we're not going to take this up. You can see that brand sure nail plastic strip there. It is a discontinued. Anyway, we're not going to take a shingle out to do it. All we're going to do is slip a piece of step flashing on top of this shingle, but we've got to get it under the next piece of flashing, which that's another thing. It should have never been that high. It should have started at the common bond of this row here. So we're going to add a piece here. We're going to add a piece here under this. Water comes down, hits the new piece we put right here. If it runs off here, it's going to catch the step flashing right down here. I can't hold my phone and do this, so we're going to do it real quick. And maybe I'll try to show you on this one real fast so you can get kind of an idea. It's going to be hard to hold and do, but we'll try a little bit of this on camera for you. So just sharp straight blade, slice it. Sometimes, and I took a flat bar and popped that loose, sometimes they'll nail the bottom. I'm not a fan of nailing the bottom. They didn't, which is good. I can shove the piece in. If it is nailed, you have to pop the nail loose carefully, then proceed on with sticking the piece in there. And again, I only cut that short because this is just a quick patch to stop water from coming in. Poke that top corner under, so you're under it. Bring it up to that slit and shove it up. I'm gonna set my phone down just for a second here. I don't want to get cut. Catching something. A little higher here. All right. Once all this is sided, you shouldn't see anything but maybe a little piece right here poking down, because the profile of the siding is probably 3/4 inch corner cap, and you'll see a little piece here. I would much rather see something small and discreet, or if you wanted, if this shingle wasn't cut so sloppy, it could go up a little bit farther, and this can actually stop right at the bottom of your 3/4 inch thick profile siding, and you won't even see it. If it is cedar siding, usually we'll try to chip a notch with a small screwdriver to get this in here. Some people are like, oh, that looks ugly. Okay, so functionality trumps cosmetics. You could have a roof that looks good, but if it doesn't keep you having it dry, why have it? At least that's my thought. All right, so hopefully this gave you a little insight, a little visual. I'm a visual guy. If I had YouTube when I was a kid, damn, I wouldn't be doing this right now. If you got anything beneficial out of this, if you could give it a quick thumbs up, let me know. We'll see you on the next one. Appreciate it.